Hey guys, welcome to a new movie review. Today we're doing Madam Web, the new Sony Marvel movie, and I'm gonna say this. Everybody else has been saying, and I'm kinda gonna agree with it's not a good movie. I don't think it's the worst movie ever, or like the worst thing ever, but it's definitely not good. I watched it once and I was like, yep, I don't need to see this movie ever again. Watched it, I'm like, yep, no, I don't need to see this ever again. The first I'm like, okay, this is just something else just does not click with me. A lot of things, but let's jump into it. Madam Web, like I said, I'm not a big fan of it, but let's jump into it. The movie is obviously about Madam Web, a character in comic books, so I was like, you're doing a movie about Madam Web. First of all, the character does not feel anything like she does in the comics, but also I'm thinking of like Spider-Man, the anime series, the 90s version, and the original show. In the comic, where she's like an old lady and stuff, like picture here, that's what I think of her. But in the end of the movie, she does, at least it's a little more like her by the end. Kind of, but we'll see. We start off with the past, right? Should we start with the past? Cassie? Is Cassie your name? I think it's Cassie. Cassie's the main girl who becomes Madam Web. See, her mother is in the rainforest, obviously it's doing research on spiders, because of course it's a Spider-Man movie. You have to be researching spiders because it's a Spider-Man movie, but that could be actually her. I don't know her lore of her mother and a bunch of the lore. I know her as a character, but I don't know like her backstory and all that as well in the comics. I don't know if this is how accurate that is, so I'm not gonna say accuracy to that, but could be really accurate, could not be, I don't know. But she is investigating stuff, and then this other guy, Ezekiel, with him. I'm like, oh, Ezekiel. I'm like, yeah, I know this guy. Not great. He's a bad, he's not a great guy. So it's like, okay, I see where this is going. And then obviously Ezekiel betrays her. I'm like, yeah, betrays her. And then, cause he wants to get the spider, he wants to get it to heal stuff. We find out later why. But, you can use it for the healing properties and stuff. But then he wants to use it, obviously, to get power and do stuff. You know, bad guy thing. Basically, kills her, tries to take the spider and shoots her. And she doesn't survive, but the baby does. There's these spider-like people who lived in the rainforest who like crawl around on walls and do stuff, kind of like spider people. They come and save her and take her, and the baby lives, but she dies. And then it cuts to later. Her cat's in the future, and she's like a ambulance driver, and she goes around and saves people and does stuff. She has a weird like thing to people. Like she is very weird to people unless they're like a friend or something. Like, is it Bob? Is it the friend named Bob? I want to say Bob, and I feel like that's so wrong, but the guy friend, I want to say it was Bob, I'm not sure. Well, I keep thinking Bob. If you think it's Bob, I'm not sure. Stuff happens, something happens, and eventually starts to get like these visions of stuff about her kind of like seeing stuff again, like she sees something and then it happens again, like a little bit of deja vu, and then eventually realizes what happens, and she sees it happening to somebody she cares about, another member of, like another like person who does like the ambulance stuff, and drives around she knows, who went to a party with, and he dies, and she feels like I could have saved him, and then she just sees it happen to these three girls. They die, but then she's like, oh shit, they're about to die, and she tells them like, hey, yeah, get off the plane, and somebody's coming after him, and it's Ezekiel, because he is having dreams of the three girls going to kill him, and that's the thing. He's like, I gotta stop these girls from killing me, They're gonna kill you because you're an evil dead. They don't kill you probably on purpose. It's usually spider people. I know some of these characters in the comics, I know, and I don't think are killers. I don't know all of them as well, but the spider people, usually spider people are not really killers, but things with the movies, you can be like, yeah, we can kill people in the movies, and in the comics, there's no killing rule, the movie is a little different. But and when it comes to the spider people, because these three girls are gonna become spider people. One becomes Spider Woman, who I'm like, it's weird because they show them in the future they're gonna be Spider Woman, and you only see him in the spider costumes in his dream that he has about him, them killing him, and then in the future, so you don't really see the spider people. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of sucks. I thought we were gonna get more of that. Maybe they were all secretly spider people, but nope, you don't get that till earlier. But hey, nice training, I guess, for this movie to become spider people. That's your first big go fighting a bad guy. One of them is Spider Woman, not Jessica Drew, who is the one everybody thinks of when they think of Spider-Woman. The other one, who was very prevalent in the 90s, part of the Avengers West Coast, and maybe it's part of the Avengers, I can't remember. She's a very prominent one. I'm like, okay, I know her. The other one of the other ones I do know, and the other one I'm like, I feel like I've probably seen before, but I don't know. There's so many spider characters. At this point, it's hard to know. And then we also get the main character becomes Madam Web at the end. Throughout the movie, it's her trying to save these girls and trying to figure out what's going on, why is the guys after her. She kind of a lot of points wants to try to get rid of the girls and be like, I don't want to help you, or you guys parents can deal with the cops, whatever the case may be, and the parents and a lot of stuff are not there, or there's a lot of reasons for it and stuff, and it's like, yeah, the parents are not there, so they have to go. She eventually has to like fight Ezekiel. So you have to go to eventually at some point goes to where her mother was investigating the spiders, and goes to this tribe and learn about, the backstory about what I am and everything. So he learns about her power and how she can use it all and stuff. A fight, I was gonna say fun, but like it's a fight with Ezekiel. I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then we go to the end where it's like, you see him on the future, C becomes Spider, Madam Web, and they all become like these Spider characters. And C obviously gets blinded or something by the end, so he's blinded. It also looks like he can't walk, he's in like a wheelchair thing. That could only be a temporary thing, I don't know. Then it shows at the end, but yeah, so I was like, okay. It's a very interesting movie. I think it's, like I said, I don't think it's the worst movie ever. It's definitely the worst Sony Marvel movie, and it's not great. I watched it, I'm like I said in the beginning, I don't want to watch a movie ever again. Like, I watched it once, I'm good with it, don't need to see it again, great. It's not the worst movie ever, because I've seen bad movies and worse than this, but it is not a good movie. I would give it, I knew when I was debating on this, it was going to be like a 5 or 4, I'm like, I'm going to give it like a 4, I just didn't click with it. I don't want to give it a 5. I would give it, if there were other things, it would be less, but there's still some stuff, like when it comes to stuff like how it's shot, some of the music, there's some stuff like how it's shot, it looks like a bigger budget, like any of the other movies, like when it comes to camera quality of the film, I think it's just the studio quality, the way it looked like. I didn't want to give it completely, like, it was not every single little thing was completely garbage, but a lot of it I just didn't like. I was like, yeah, don't care, but I don't think it's completely, like, is it the worst thing ever? No. That's why I did give it a 4, not anything lower. I'm not giving it any lower than a 4 or 5, because, like, it's not the worst thing ever. Yeah, so what do you guys think of this movie? Let me know in the comments down below if you guys seen it. You guys like it? Probably not, because most people didn't like it, but maybe there's somebody who did like it. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Also, I noticed I'm wearing a Venom shirt today. I think that's kind of funny in class. I'm wearing a Venom shirt. Sony Venom. I don't know, it just happened to be the case. But thank you guys for watching. You guys can always stay epic. See you in the next movie, you guys. Bye.